That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Basically,
How many hours does the bonnet stay on per day at the moment?
I'm going for Guinness Book of World Records, so I haven't taken it off in the last 12.
Yeah, nice,
That
good.
shit's gonna.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Gonna say that shit's gonna be nasty under there, man. Hey,
Yeah, it's
I'm.
just I gotta get a haircut, so I'm kind of just hiding it right
Yeah.
now. You know.
That's why I've got this
You
cap
look
on.
much cooler in your bonnet than I used to look in mine. My boyfriend at the time would be like, I'm sleeping next to, who are you? And I'd have this little bonnet on. And anyway, it was just fucked.
Never seen this woman before. Dude, congratulations on this fucking album. What
Yeah.
a phenomenal effort. How are you feeling about how it's being received, dude? Because it's a really, really special one.
I was expecting a lot of hate. I can't lie, but there's none. But there's none. Everybody likes a song off of it, at least one. I'm really happy about it. There's no skips. Man, it just to be able to put together a project that you've been working on for so long, that you poured your heart and soul into and everything, your entire being into, and have the reception be actually positive and people are taking things away from it and positive messages are being received and just the message I wanted to send is being heard. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Does it get to
Beautiful.
a stage when you're working on an album like this, like where you say you are putting everything into it, where you kind of, there comes a point where you're like, okay, I've got to just put it out there now because if you could change it and keep working on it forever, you would do that. But it gets to the point where you're like, just get it out.
You know what? I'm not a perfectionist, actually. I would have put the album out weeks before we turned
Yeah.
it in if it was up to me. But some things, need to be fully fleshed out. And me just being the spontaneous person I am, when I was working on Petals to Thorns and I was working on the Lost Petals, I just threw a track list together and just let it live. But with
Yeah.
the debut album, it's a bit more intricate than that. There's a lot more thought that has to go into the process, and especially the internet moves so fast. How do we keep up with being authentic to me, but also making sure that we get the internet part of it right, and we promote it right on TikTok, and we get it right on Instagram, and we tell the story we want to tell, and we get the visuals right, and the identity right, and what the story is, and so many moving parts to an actual album, a full body of work. So you know, it was just people pulling me back down to earth at some points, be like, yo, you got to finish this and we got to add this element, and maybe we should do real drums on this, because I work a lot on my phone. A lot of things are very from the phone drums and the phone this and phone that.
Yeah.
We got to go back into the studio and actually track things and real instruments. So it
Yeah.
was it was a learning process for me as
Yeah.
the artist to kind of be mature in the music that I'm making, and making sure that it's very it's finished, a finished
Yeah.
product at the end of the day.
This is something that's really fascinating to me at the moment is how you get those two worlds together of authenticity and rawness and truth and the polish and kind of sheen that something like a debut album
Mm.
feels like it deserves. How do you find that balance? Is it literally just listening to the other people that you trust in your creative process, or is it something that you as the artist have to really get a grasp on?
You have to get a grasp on that as the artist, and it's a very humbling experience too, just to hear just how bad a song can be. It's to that level where I was working in the studio my first time in the studio, and I didn't understand the concept of having an engineer and having somebody else control what I sound like.
Mm.
And I remember the first time I was in the studio, I kicked the engineer out, and I stood in front of this mic and I just recorded everything on my phone. But I found the balance now and the maturity that I'm in right now, and I start making all the instrumentals in the studio, making sure the production is up to par and everything sounds perfect on an instrumental and production standpoint, and then taking that back on BandLab and engineering my own vocals to make sure everything is still shining through in the most important parts of the song, which are the lyrics and the story and the subject matter.
Mm.
So keeping everything alive on both sides of the spectrum, being in the studio for some parts and then taking it back on my phone and still being very DIY and authentic and raw with it.
Yeah. You
Wow.
just did this massive show in Houston, which there was so many people there, and you had your debut at Coachella, which is
I
massive.
did.
That's so cool, man. Like, congratulations. They're both such big achievements. When you're putting together an album like this, like, are you visualizing the live aspect of it and the live performances?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, for the first time ever, I was making a project after coming off of so many tours, and I
Yeah.
was able to see what the crowd reaction is like in real time, especially on tour with SZA. It was
Yeah.
20,000 people, and I'm seeing how they're responding to different vocal takes and vocal runs and my different melodies, and approaching this project, I was approaching it at a first person perspective where I'm finally talking about my own experiences and being vulnerable for the first time on these tracks and speaking about myself. But then I also have to think about the fans and the audience. How do I make this an experience for them and not bore them to death with how sad I am on stage? You know, I have to make everything an experience, because listening to a sad song in your bedroom while you're in your feelings is one thing, but then coming to a concert to hear that in its full beauty is another. So I got to make sure I build these songs out and make sure it feels very, very alive on stage with how I present these tracks for live shows. So
Yeah.
it's a very exciting process.
And from Coachella, you'll be coming here soon for Spilt Milk. Is that
I
right?
am.
Yeah, that is
Summer.
so exciting. The lineup for that
So
is
exciting.
huge. It's incredible.
Stacked.
We must get there, Nick. We've got to get there.
This is the thing. The difficult thing, my
Yeah.
friend, is that the show that's closest to us is also the same night as Lady Gaga
Yeah.
in Sydney.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. So we've got some real balancing issues.
We're gonna
I'm
have to
gonna
make
miss
this extra.
Gaga.
Yeah, no. Well, you might be able to catch her on another night when you're here, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you'll be okay. Did you love the
Man,
Gaga record? Can I ask? Did you
are
love
you
that
kidding me?
album?
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
I seen her at Coachella and I was blown
Yeah.
away just by the shit. Like that is something you see like on a Netflix special,
Yeah.
Right?
you
Yeah.
know? And I just seen her crowd in Brazil the other day,
Oh my
2.5
God.
million people.
Yeah.
Are you, bro? She's on a whole different. That's
The fact
crazy.
the fact that you were performing at the same Coachella as Gaga, like you are part of history, my friend.
Exactly. That's our guy.
Crazy.
You've been really good with performing in Australia, and I say that because I know the commitment and the effort that it takes to get over to this country. But you've been here multiple times. You were here for the Ignite showcase for your
I
record label.
was.
I just happened to be wearing the shirt today.
Yeah.
And also did the very esteemed Laneway Festival as well, which they just nail that lineup every single time. What is it about crowds in our part of the world that you seem to connect with? Because everyone that has been to a David show in Australia comes out screaming about you.
You guys have energy. You don't understand how much I love the energy. I've performed shows on tour where, they just stand still and look at you. They know the
Yeah.
lyrics and they sing, and I'm very grateful. But I gotta see some, I gotta
Yeah.
see some movement. Like, but when I come to Australia, you guys are so pumped up, and you guys love the music that I make, the genre that I'm a fan of, and the genre that I cultivate, and the sounds I produce. You guys are big fans of that because of your history with rock music and alternative music.
Yeah.
Australia is the home for that. So I'm so excited to showcase some more stuff I have. I got some more songs coming soon in that vein this year. And man, once I hit that Spill Milk stage, it's gonna be a rock star show. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh
Yes,
my
it
God.
is. Dude, I
Come
love
on.
that you know that we have a history with rock and
Yeah.
alternative music.
Yes.
It's so
Yes.
deeply ingrained in the culture here. And I love that you're such a student of the genres that you're playing in. And I think the question I have after listening to this record still, how do you manage to make it so varied across the record? You've got these sad, deeply yearning kind of songs, but then you've got these songs with this groove to them, but they all feel like so uniquely David at the same time.
Mm.
How do you manage to make that work? Like to make such different music across a project, but it still feels like you.
That's an interesting question. That's a great, actually, that's the first time I've actually been asked this question too.
Fuck yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Basically, my history with how I approach the internet, with being in the gaming community and being a film nerd
Mm.
and being so online and such a media consumer, I approach music like a movie director. And I wanted to be in the film industry before music even was even a thought in my mind. I was, studying the great like Tarantino and Christopher Nolan. And everybody has a specific style of movie,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how many different types of films they make with all these different types of casts. It's always the same director with a specific vision, but
Yeah.
every film has that touch. You know it's Nolan. You know it's a Tarantino film. You
Yeah.
know that's Spike Lee. You know that's. So when I approach music in this way, I view the production as the cast.
Mm.
Different beats, different instruments, different production elements every single time. But as a director of these movies, because I view my songs as movies, I have to kind of figure out a way to manipulate my voice and the melodies I use and how I'm talking about certain things on certain tracks. And if I'm gonna be happy today or very depressed today, and what I want the audience to feel if they listen to it. So it's kind of like stepping back. There's so much stepping back. There's so many steps back to move forward with this album in particular, because when I was stepping into London to make it in the studio and then kind of laying down the foundation for the project, I had to just listen to my own music exclusively, no outside influence. There
Really?
is inspirations I've taken from movies and TVs, and my idols like Nirvana and Deftones and Radiohead. But listening to my own songs, it really got me back into that mindset of, okay, I got to be hungry for this again, and I got to really make the best music coming from myself in the first person. I got to talk about me. And that's something I had to. I was like a rocky training montage, you know. I had to kind of train myself to talk about me because it's scary to kind of
Yeah.
be vulnerable and be so, open with music, especially. So, just trying to find ways to navigate that and become the true artist that I wanted to be with this project. And it was very, very, very insightful to who I want to be.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you just articulated that so beautifully, and I feel that. I really feel everything you've just talked about listening to this project.
Mm.
That's, man, you are one of a kind, you know that?
Yeah.
You are a unique
Hey,
artist, bro.
Yeah.
Oh.
Man. Just apropos of nothing, I just want to know, because obviously you're a film buff. I feel like I'm a slight film buff.
Yeah.
What do you think? What movie do you think has the best soundtrack of all time?
Oh.
oh, don't do that to me.
Because I was
Because
thinking about it then. I was like, I can't even think. But
listen,
yeah.
I'm the biggest Hans Zimmer
Oh my
fan
God.
of
He's,
all time.
yeah.
Hans has a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
So I gotta say either Interstellar
Yep.
or The Dark Knight.
I was Dark Knight for me. I think the sound of that film just
Yeah.
gives me chills.
The goosebumps. Did you
Yeah.
did you see it in theaters?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I
I
know.
was so little when I seen it. Oh
Like
my
the
gosh.
rumbling. It's like the rumble. Even the soundtrack in Oppenheimer as well. Like the
Yes.
sound in
Yes.
that is
He's
just
so crazy.
insane.
He's
Yeah.
so crazy.
Yeah.
I love this. You are a film buff, bro.
Yeah, I
You
am a little
are.
bit. Yeah.
My man, we cannot wait to see you in the country. I really hope we get to meet when you're here as well.
Absolutely. I'll come
And
by the studio.
we'd love
Yes,
that,
we would
man.
love that.
We can watch Oppenheimer
We
together in the
will.
studio with our
Yeah.
good speakers.
Let's go. Let's go.
So much love, David. We see you. We
Yeah.
appreciate you. We really respect what you're doing. And thank you so much for your time and your generosity today. We really appreciate it, bro.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.